3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back within the confines of the Hotel of Kayfabe. Matt Mullins is here. The other Steve is here on behalf of Steve New and Brian Resner in the House of Kayfabe. Day 2 of Wrestlecade is in the books. Woo! It's actually almost tomorrow already. And boy, fellas, we got going about 8 o'clock this morning to get set up for Wrestlecade. Doors opened at 10. We had some matches to go over. We did some shopping. We were going to show you some of the things that we got here at Wrestlecade. It's our nightly wrap-up. What do you guys think? Where are we going to start?
We did some interviews. We set up an interview station first at our table, one of our tables.
We got Austin Aries. We got Francine.
Colby Max.
Heath.
Thunder Rosa poked in there.
Yeah, the photo bomb by some Thunder Rosa.
You have to look for all this on the YouTube channel coming up. We'll like and subscribe so when this comes out at a later date, you'll be able to see this.
In the weeks following tonight, you will see all of that stuff. I started out the day getting iced coffee for Aubrey Edwards.
Nice.
Because she had gotten a iced coffee and spilt it. Spilt. And you know, it was kind of sweet. She was like, look, I know they just got me one and I spilled it. But like, I was like, this is what I'm here for. You know, we are here at our table. You know, we had Claudio Castagnoli. We had the Major Pros. We had Heath. We had Francine. We had Aubrey Edwards. And a lot of our day was spent making sure that they were taken care of.
Yeah.
Part of the day for all of us. Yeah, I got to take money in the Cesaro line, which was as huge as we expected, I think. I mean, it was huge. It took forever before it finally died down. And every time I thought it was going to die down, about 7 or 8 more people got in line, you know. And thanks to Stephen P. New for bringing in Cesaro and helping bring in, and the ASW family for being there to help support. Again, it takes a whole crew of people to make these signings happen. A lot of great vendors today.
Thank you to Gary Dameron's shoes.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. We all look
and
at
his
Gary
glasses.
for inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's actually the one that kind of brings us all together, really,
Yes.
as the beacon of light amongst everybody and the whole team.
A fashion as well.
Absolutely.
He looked at my shirt and went, "Oh, Matt, really?"
Like that wasn't loud enough.
No,
for Gary.
it's too quiet.
So, of course, if you're wondering who we're talking about the wonderful Gary Dameron, who is the promoter of basically our sister indie promotion, ASW All-Star Wrestling, which I'm a huge mark for. They run in my home county, and it gives my home county something to be proud of. And they're with us at the House of Kayfabe here at Wrestlecade. So it's good to have. And what's great about Gary is he always brings young workers who will let an old man get out of responsibilities, because I was supposed to go pick Claudio up today, and then Steve told me I had to get up at 5 in the morning. I was like, do you have anybody else that would like to go do that? So one of the young boys, I guess, if you will, of the ASW went to go pick Claudio up.
I wouldn't call him that. He's no young boy. I wouldn't mess with Dustin Alexander.
Oh, see, I don't know who it was.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mess with him. But it's good of him and Nikki to do that, and everybody that picks up people. I met a couple of the ladies that went to the airport to pick up Brian Myers, and also picked up somebody else they were talking to Steve New about. But I thanked them, the people that work behind the scenes to make that stuff happen. The wrestlers get a lot of glory, and the promoters even get some of that. But it's the people that work behind the scenes at wonderful hotels. Yeah, wonderful hotels, and at promotions that run indie shows throughout the whole year. I mean, that's what keeps wrestling alive on the underground that we all exist on,
As Ricky Morton would say, the greatest team you've ever seen.
That's right. In the greatest business.
In the greatest business.
The greatest professional sport.
In the greatest weekend. In the greatest city in the world.
With the greatest fans.
Man, well, what you're bringing up there with just like, having that team to make things run, this was 8,000 is what I heard. There were 8,000
I heard
people.
10,000 tickets.
Okay,
but in between
8 and 10,000 people in one block in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. There seems to be the possibility of a disaster, and this thing is like spinning plates. I can't believe how smooth all of this is. Now,
it really runs.
It's ran smoothly. It is not easy to smoothly move amongst the crowd, because it is herding cattle. It was just assholes to elbows all day.
But you know what? I talk to a lot of people in line. It's actually one of the favorite things I get to do is just kind of chit chat with people, look at the stuff they brought to get signed. I mean, some people were hauling whole carts of stuff to get signed. One guy his whole family had a Thunder Rosa figure each. You know, his 2 little girls, his son, and him. His wife had a Thunder Rosa figure. Well, we were all going to get him signed.
And one girl had the book bag that had the loaded screen on the back. So I was like, took a picture of that. You could upload anything. So she had AEW across her backpack, which was really cool, and it scrolled like a sign.
It had all kinds of different promotions, and that guy said, I wanted to make sure we put all the promotions on there, you know, because we love all wrestling. And he said that to me, and I was like, man, that's really great of you. You know, I noticed there was like a Smoky Mountain that rolled by too on there. And those people were fine to wait in line. They get the deal. And also, wrestlers have to step away to, you know, go to the bathroom, you know.
Eat.
Claudio's there with like a Starbucks sandwich, grabbing a couple bites, you know, in between signings and making people's lives, you know, making their whole weekend by talking to them. He's got to try to sustain just to stay going.
For 5 straight hours.
5 hours, man.
There were some, you know, the top popular, you know, top guys at this convention, those cats. Those guys and gals did not stop for 5 straight hours. And, you know, I know we're marks and they're the workers, but I will say, even if some of them were working me being nice, it was, I'll accept that.
That's right, yeah.
I got to talk to Austin Aries for a while. I got to tell him what his run in Impact Wrestling meant to me. Nice. For all I know, he was just like, man, fuck this bald asshole. But he was super nice and appreciative of the fact that, like, we've come here, and, you know, God Emperor won't like it, but we've come here to honor these people's art, if you will.
That's right.
And, man, nobody was an asshole. I saw JBL be nice. Like, you know, of course, we hear that JBL is the big bully of WWE.
I never did see him and Ron from over a sea of people waiting in line to get to meet
where Scott
them.
Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner was, they were straight across from them, him and Ron Simmons. So, Matt, you know, this is our 2nd year, and you've been here a 3rd year? You've been here before this.
2017 I came, and I didn't really know what Wrestlecade was. I was living in Mount Airy, North Carolina, picked my kids up, and was like, hey, there's a wrestling thing, let's just go to it. And we...
A wrestling thing.
Yeah, and we show up at the convention center, and there was like nobody in the lobby. I buy tickets, and we open the doors, and there's a million people. And my little boy looks up to me, and he goes, Daddy, this is really scary. Because the big convention center that we were in today, the big room, they had the ring in there, all in one room. So it was super loud. So we actually did one pass, walked around. I got to shake Bruce Pritchard's hand, and then I went and got a refund. I did. Really? I was like, one pass, like less than 10 minutes.
So this is your 2nd year, and I want this question for everybody. Like, you know, last year we were just overwhelmed by the scale of it and the amount of people that we have adored for our whole lives. Have you gotten callous to just walking to the bathroom and being like, oh yeah, there's Sergeant Slaughter, whatever. Like, are you still
RVD's eating over there?
Yeah, like RVD's having Jimmy John's.
Yeah, I saw Tommy Dreamer eating donuts yesterday. But
don't bury my kid.
No, I love Tommy Dreamer. No, it's you still gotta act cool, but I mean, I can meet people that are musicians, and I don't get like as starstruck like a little schoolgirl. But wrestlers, for whatever reason, I'm like, oh.
That's true.
So I was. We have an employee bathroom there at the convention center, and I was walking out of the bathroom, and Ricky Steamboat walking in, and he goes, "Oh, this is the good bathroom."
This meets the Dragon standard.
Yes, this is the Dragon's bathroom. We've met.
So what was the one time today, Matt, where you were just, you mouth agape, holy shit, I'm seeing this person?
Big show. I was prepared to lose it, and then we just never really engaged. So that was one that I was like getting nervous as I was getting to him. Seeing Ron Simmons yesterday, Godfather is such a big son of a bitch,
dude. He is a full-grown man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. There was a bunch today.
So
Just keep happening.
Adam, are you? And the thing about Adam is, he is of course the best indie announcer on the scene. So you are regularly announcing legends and up and coming stars and current stars. Have you lost the kid on Christmas feeling when you get to see, ex wrestler?
Definitely not. I still feel like, just like Matt said, sometimes it's nerve wracking to even think of what you're going to say. And I geeked out around Kurt Angle recently, just recently. Like, I totally just spaced and said God bless, which I've never said God bless to anybody.
You've never said, dude, I've known Adam Harris for almost 20 years.
It's not something
I've never heard you say God bless. Matt Mullins, you've known him probably as long.
He's an Olympic gold medalist.
But God bless.
God bless.
God
Man,
bless.
yeah. So it still does get like that, man. I geeked out. I got to say hello to the Mountie today. That was really cool. I wish I could have had just a little more interaction with him, but I wasn't able to get into his line, and he had already shut down time by the time I had the time to go actually stand in line. And I saw Bruno, downtown Bruno. I saw Harvey Whippleman, which is another one. And that's that's the era we're from, man. And to be that far away from them,
and he's right beside Ted DiBiase.
That's right, yeah. See them smiling and laughing, and then also a couple of times with Cesaro specifically, but it happens at everybody's table. Jeff Jarrett, kind of horns his way in real quick to say a hello or whatever. Or somebody's making their rounds.
And we ran into Jeff Jarrett on the elevator, and he was super cool. He was like, "Y'all coming to my interview or my podcast?"
Promoter at heart, man. Yes. He was like, "Mate, y'all come on. We're gonna have a good time."
Yes, sir. And they went.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Karen, although there are many beautiful ladies of wrestling.
How many times have we heard her name today?
It's the ticker is
We're
up
at
there.
a dozen, yeah.
And who are we talking about?
Karen Jarrett is breathtakingly beautiful. Not to sound like a creep show.
Yeah,
She's just a beautiful lady. I never thought that she was that beautiful in watching, but when you see somebody in person, it's different.
That's true.
Cameron Diaz to me, I never was like, oh, that she's awesome. But I went to Inside the Actor Studio, got to meet her, and was floored because her beauty shook me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that Karen Angle is the same way. When you're standing next to her, you're like, oh shit. What am I doing with my hands?
Man, someone else. I'll go ahead and creep show right with you. And actually, you're going to see this video, and we'll talk about the toy that got signed. Kimberly Page.
Oh yeah.
Still has it.
Yeah.
This just in. Kimberly Page in 2022 is something wonderful to look at.
I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast, but I think we talked about it maybe on the phone. But Kimberly Page, if you don't know, is also a star in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the Steve Carell movie.
I did not know this.
So in the speed dating scene, she pops a titty.
This did make the preview episode. Yeah. This made the preview episode.
Okay, but I just think it's funny that she's at a convention with all us smart nerds. And
when we are buying our action figures.
In the movie that is based around
a
40-year-old that still collects action figures.
Here we are, hello. Here we are, it's come to life.
Yes. So for me, I had the big moment, and the thing is, last year, because at this point we're veterans at the Wrestlecade. Last year, me and Matt and Adam, we sat at the kiddie table at the Stephen P. New feast that he throws for us every year now. It's becoming a tradition. And we sat down, and Matt just turns over very calmly and goes, Sergeant Slaughter's eating like a Caesar salad right beside me. And I am, of course, not the merch guy on the podcast. Of course, our merch guys are Adam and Matt and Brother Derek. Shout out. We wish you were here.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. The moment that I had was I get stuff for I get Christmas gifts when I come here, right? So I got my brother, shout out Ben, he watches the podcast. He is military, and I was walking around, I was like, who can I get for Ben? Last year I got Sting. Thank you, Matt Mullins. And I was like, fuck, there's Sergeant Slaughter. We used to watch the cartoon together. There's a good fucking chance that my little brother decided to go to the military probably when we were kids while watching Sergeant Slaughter, right? And man, I went up to him and I guess and what I'm trying to wrap all this up is like the connection that you have with like family members and friends. And man, I fucking started choking up. I was like Sergeant Slaughter. I was like, my brother's 101st Airborne. He's a veteran. Like, he loves you, and I've got it, and it says at ease, Ben, and nice. Says like thanks for your service and all that stuff.
That's great.
Nice. And like I didn't expect this. Like, dude, I ate a salad beside of him last year. I was like, I'm fucking Sergeant Slaughter, whatever.
Yeah, we're homies.
Yeah, we're homies, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've actually been to his daughter's house, played a gig at her house once. And man, I started like choking up. I was like, God damn, this is what pro wrestling does. Like it connects. And man, me and my brother, he doesn't watch product now. But that's one thing that I connect to Ben.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, why am I fucking... It's either I'm getting old and soft...
Yeah.
Or it's the wonders of what pro wrestling does.
So, yeah, I think so. And then I also think we've just been, what do you like to say, mainlining it.
We have.
I feel like we reached this peak where we're just like, God, I love wrestling so much. And Slaughter, one of the nicest guys, one of the best signatures, man. Yep. Worth whatever you are asked to pay for a Sergeant Slaughter signature. Wonderful. He did that for your brother, which was great. You got something else for a friend, right? Or
for probably my best friend, my waifu.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's right. Yes.
Gosh, shout out to her because I know that you are engaged to a non-mark. Mm-hmm. You actually have a mark wife. My wife, she tolerates wrestling, but through about that era of the I got kids. And because she's got 4, or we've got 4, she found someone that she connected with, and the one T-shirt that my waifu has is Heath. And I went to Heath, and I was like, "Dude, my wife is you're her favorite wrestler. Will you hook me up?" And he gave me to Kathy, my waifu. I got kids too. Nice. So that was mine. We have another great Heath Matt Mullen story here coming up, but those were my 2 big moments. Like I put a smile on my face, on my wife's face, and then my little brother, I sent him the picture, and he was like, man, he's like, we loved him when we were kids. Nice. I was like, don't do it again.
Yeah, right.
I just got myself pulled back together.
Well, and I think I said it last time on the thing, but these collectibles and these memories of wrestling are the closest thing we have to time travel. I mean, it takes us back there, and that's why Wrestlecade, what a treat, man, to be able to just step in this. And like I said, it's just like the atmosphere of everybody having a great time, being marks, nerds, mark it out.
One of the things, mark nerds, marking out. One of the best parts about it, because we are grown men, we don't. I don't know how you all do it, but it's almost like saying shibboleth to someone. Just like, I don't talk openly about my wrestling love. I have you all.
That's right. Yeah.
But here, you can go in the elevator and be like, "Hey, man, what fix did you get today?" It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Well, there was that point too today when they really released everybody into the big room, and you can see people like kind of funneling around and talking to the wrestlers, and everybody's smiling, and I just like stood back and was like, yeah,
I love it.
I love this chaos. Like,
that's fucking wonderful.
I was really enjoying the 20 minutes or so before the storm also. I love that we are able to get that sneak peek and actually browse through things without people blowing behind us.
Right. Yeah, what they're saying is they get to go, these 2 guys get to go through and get the good stuff before the regulars. Which
we're going to talk about. We're going to show some stuff, I think, that we got today. But there was also some wrestling matches. Yeah. And so before we get to the stuff we got signed, we should, I guess, touch on some of the wrestling. The Super Show was today. More matches than we were able to make it to because tearing down, getting food, and relaxing and marking out a little bit more takes some time. So by the time we got something to eat, we got there right in time to see like Bandito was a part of a 4-way match with Lince Dorado, which I thought that was exciting. And actually Bandito got a huge pop. I was really great to hear the reaction that Bandito got. And then let's see, you joined us. What was happening?
I joined the Johnny Wrestlecade versus whoever he was. He was the local, the indie promotion.
One star. That's right.
He's the champion for the AML.
Tracy Myers.
For Tracy Myers' promotion. So I came in halfway through that. And and again, I used this word yesterday. It was like Kismet. I just walked in, and you all had places for us to sit, and it was wonderful.
Nice, yeah, it was good. Brad Attitude was his name.
Brad Attitude, yeah, he's the champion. And actually, go check out the Wrestlecade Instagram. He cuts a really good promo on Johnny Wrestlecade. That dude may have something. What was our next match?
Well, there was a battle royal was next. Of course.
There was a battle
your
royal.
Your favorite battle royal, with the surprise entrance, which was it turned out to be the winner, Nick Aldis.
What's causing all this?
What's causing all this? You know,
when he showed up, I think we all knew who was going to win this.
Yeah, that's true. And it came down to who you predicted: Brian Pillman Jr. and Nick Aldis, and so it was a good ending.
Brian Pillman looking great, by the way.
We should do maybe we should do like a deep dive episode on battle royals and their value versus their
back's hurt.
A debate, if we will. A nice House of Kayfabe
Royal
debate.
Rumble. That's all you need. Just do that.
And the different variations of course. And that was, I think, match of the night for me was definitely Heath and Rhino versus the major players.
Oh, baby. Let me put my friend Matt Mullins over because he wasn't sure. And if you don't know, Matt Mullins wrote and recorded Heath's theme song. And we looked at Matt. I was like, do you know if he's using it? He's like, I'm not sure. And then fucking here comes Matt. So it's like very cool because I'm a musician as well. Me and Matt's played 1,000 shows together over the years. We've never played together. You realize that, like, as long as we've never played music together.
It's weird.
We've marked out about wrestling way more than
and Levon.
And Levon. But dude, we hear fucking Matt Mullins' song over the deal, and they of course wrestled your all's guys, the major brothers. Adam Harris is a huge tag team wrestling fan. Tell us about some of the classic tag team spots that we had today.
Well, it was great, and I love watching Brian Myers work anytime. He can put a great match together. He's just his movements and everything. It's why he's the most professional wrestler. I just love to watch him work. Every little movement counts. When they powdered out when they came in for the entrance, him and Matt powdered out, and they're just giving it to the fans. The whole time, and then there was this really creative they've done it on Impact, I think, the creative move where they get pulled into, it's a crotch move, a pratfall, if you will, in the wrestling business. Yeah, some definite gaga.
The Tree of Woe.
Yeah, that's right. Brian's in the Tree of Woe. They pull Matt crotch first into Brian's face, who falls then into what you could say is a 69 position.
Yes.
Double crotch face.
That's right.
You would definitely call it a 69 position.
And then they're both shocked and appalled.
That's right. It's awful. How did that even happen? And a great reaction.
Tree of Woe to Tree of Oh No.
Chris Oh No.
We need to send that. We need to send that to him if they're not using that on the Impact commentary. So that to me was match of the night, definitely, and that was followed up by a couple other good matches. Speedball Mike Bailey fought Dax Harwood.
That might have been my match of the night.
Yeah, very strong match. Dax
I
Harwood,
don't know if
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I don't know if Speedball Mike Bailey is that good or if just Dax Harwood is the greatest wrestler going right now. But dude, we got worked on a pile driver finish, Adam Harris. Dax Harwood puts this man in a fucking pile driver, and I was like, we're going to see a Jerry Lawler finish.
I thought it was the finish.
Worked us, man. I was ready for it. He kicked out in 2 7/8.
It was a 20-minute time limit or 30?
Yep, I think it was 20.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know, but I think I remember hearing him say 15.
It went 19 minutes. 58 seconds.
That's right. And we were all, and they worked us again because we all thought it was going to be a time limit draw, which I wouldn't have argued with. See, nobody goes over, nobody goes under, but then Dax, who's been not really that successful on television, here at Wrestlecade gets the 1, 2, 3, and it's good for them. It was a great match. And of course, the indie finish with both guys hugging at the end, I think, took place.
I could have done without that.
Yeah, we could. That's another episode right there, But all things are welcome here at Wrestlecade,
True.
And it was a well-booked show. Matt Hardy, and speaking of well-booked, some long-term storytelling in the Matt Hardy Jeff Jarrett match
because they wrestled at Wrestlecade 4,
2015.
Yeah, wow, isn't that something? And then actually Jarrett popped him with a guitar shot.
What they call stiff in the business.
Yeah, 30 stitches stiff in this case, and so cool to see Matt Hardy get a little comeuppance. A little overbooked on the finish, if I was going to be critical, because there were some weird run-ins.
Have I mentioned to you guys about Karen Jarrett?
That's right. There were definitely some distractions throughout the.
Karen Jarrett played a key role, and Rebby looked great.
That's right.
And Rebby, I don't know how many kids. I think they've got 4 kids. They might have 7.
And when Karen called out Rebby, it was like, that got a huge pop.
That got a huge pop.
Dude, when she said that, I talked about, or I thought immediately about how, like, the social media aspect of pro wrestling has been integrated into this business.
This business, our business.
Because her words to bring Rebby running to the fucking ring was, "Where's that bitch that's been talking that shit on social media?" and did you also notice that when they were doing the run-up package to the match, it was 2 podcast hits. It was Jeff Jarrett's My World podcast talking about that chair shot.
That's right.
And then I don't know what Matt Hardy's podcast is, but him responding. I was like, this pro wrestling thing is becoming. It's getting a new life. As much as we can bitch about social media, it's bringing a new life and a new aspect into the business.
And it can keep gimmicks or storylines going. You know, it can be the birth of storylines that nobody even had planned. It can actually set natural things. That could be a detriment too. In some cases, for sure. But you're right. And also, Matt Hardy always does a good job promoting. He did the same with Enzo last year. Like, he knew they had a main event match.
I love that match last year.
That was great. Yeah, that was great.
Also, if you want to hear our recap on that, go way back in our history. You'll find that it's day 2 recap if you want to hear about that.
So we're in the midst of our day 2 recap here at this year's
We got to do one more match before you go, because this is the one where I turned into a child.
Yeah.
Because the main event was them boys. As a chicken farmer myself, I will always have the back of another chicken farmer, and I'm the big, me and Derek are the big Ring of Honor marks on the podcast. And when I heard "Reach for the Sky," boy, dude, I jumped up like a child. I'm 45 years old, and I'm fucking. And they had a great match. They had a great tag team match with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett.
Yeah.
And if you
Maria
want to talk
Kanellis
about,
was there.
Karen Angle weekend or Karen Jarrett, we can of course talk about Maria Kanellis.
Yeah.
And that match was great, and that was there was no doubt that them boys were going to be going home with
and it was what it needed to be. That did not need to be a 25-minute,
AEW jump
That's
out.
right. No, there were very few kickouts. The finishes that they did have worked very well.
Their finish, Matt, tell them what the finish was.
Man.
The Doomsday Device.
I will fucking love the Doomsday Device.
Do we know if they do that regularly, or I wonder if that was a hat tip to us nerd marks?
They have done it before.
Okay, good.
I can tell you this:
but they
if
knew
I
we were wanting it, I'm sure.
When I'm laid in my grave, if you all can put me in the grave with the Doomsday Device, it'll make me
Steve.
happy. Oh man, it will always pop me, man. Road Warriors. I'm old enough on the podcast with Steve New that we're old enough that we saw the Road Warrior pop, and them boys got a. Not a Road Warrior, but a real damn close Road Warrior.
Well, and from a couple thousand people who've been nerding out since 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And after 8 matches or however many matches it was, great crowd, great matches. And we still have a whole day's worth of stuff to go tomorrow. More matches, ladies' night out, the day after promotion from AML Wrestling, I think.
The George South Nick Cage.
The moment we've all been waiting for?
Mudshell.
Steve's going to protest. We'll see.
I protested the one last year.
Maybe we'll have some commentary.
I will not
from
condone
the other
this buffoonery
Steve, on this one.
But I will be glad that you will get that part of your diet. And have.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Because today, I as much as I know about Adam, I always forget, because you're like the sweetest human being in the world, that you like a little blood and you like a little guts, and I do too. But you like a lot of you like a little garbage.
I don't watch every GCW pay-per-view or anything, but man, when IWEA East Coast runs back home and they did a deathmatch tournament last summer, that was awesome. But it was awesome for a show to go to once a year, for me personally, Well, and so like I told you, it's part of my diet. Look, I consume a lot of wrestling. And a healthy diet includes various things, I think, and so I have incorporated some hardcore.
And I have a picture of you with a barbed wire door and a barbed wire bat.
From last year, yeah, that's right.
I've seen that.
We stumbled upon the barbed wire and hardcore stuff for the George, for the George South match last year as we were getting ready for the TNA panel, which you can also watch on the House of Kayfabe YouTube. But it's been a long day, boys. But I think what better way to end the day than to talk about some of our favorite things, which is the collectible realm and what we were able to pick up today. Matt, I picked up a couple things. You got the cool things signed. we, of course, did get to glimpse it before it was open to the public. And so, do you have any real memories of what we looked at very first, or what first caught your eye?
Yes, I do, Adam. I'm a big old school figure fan, so I had the LJN, the rubber first WWF figures. So I went back and recollected them, especially being stuck in the house during the pandemic. I got pretty much the whole collection minus a few of the black card series, which are the high dollar. And right when we were setting up, I had my eye on a Miss Elizabeth mint on card $300 figure.
Did you spot it first?
I don't know.
I think we kind of walked up on it.
I think we both walked up on it.
I can close my eyes and picture it.
Yes. We took some pictures of it. I even talked to the guy about the price and told him I could offer him much less than he was asking. And
to see if there's interest in
to see
really low ball offer.
Yeah.
Man.
And then they had a Haku
that was pretty
black
nice.
card series, which is one of the most rare of besides the Sergeant Slaughter mail away. I think he had $2,750. $2,750.
It's the most expensive thing that I saw there all day.
Besides belts.
Yeah, the non-championship. Yeah.
Besides belts, that was the most expensive thing.
We did look at some cool belts today.
We did look at, there was a fella dressed in an all Bojangles suit.
Yeah.
They kept telling me it was bow time.
Got a good thing.
And I was,
going.
and so we were just going through each one. One of the first ones I saw, I ended up going back and asking the guy how much that this figure was. The Sandman Bash of the Brawlers, original San Francisco Toy Makers ECW figure. And gave me a good price because he knew us from last year, I'm pretty sure.
We saw a lot of familiar faces, and they recognize a couple marks when they walk up. You know,
He said,
especially when you spend a little money with them.
And he was like, honestly, I've held on to this collection, and I just want rid of it. And I was like, well, I want to get that sign from Sandman because I see him.
Yeah.
And he comes with a snow shovel, so I got the Sandman.
And that's the great example of finding a product here and turning around,
right,
and immediately getting it signed by the person.
Well, and last year from the same vendor, I bought this Rhino figure, the Thrill Zone Rhino figure, and I got it signed this year.
So it's been to Wrestlecade a couple times. It came here, got bought by you, it went home, and then came back this year to get a fresh signature. Man.
And Rhino was great. I brought him a paint pen. He said, "You test this pen?" And I said, "I think so." He said, "Think and know are two different things."
He did. We have this all on video. This is going to be on one of the videos.
Different things,
yeah,
Rhino.
I have it on video.
Thus saith Rhino.
And actually, we were talking about becoming calloused of seeing guys kind of backstage because we get to kind of work the event. And as I was walking behind the backstage area, Rhino was caught up with a security guard, and he goes, "Hey, Heath, buddy." He goes, "Tell this guy what my wrestling name is." And I said, "It's Rhino." And he goes, "See, I forgot my pass."
I've not heard that story.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Hey, Heath, buddy.
Like, did that cop not look at him and be like, "Oh yeah, this is not an accountant"?
Yeah.
Like, look at him. Yeah. Like, what else would have Rhino been with that body type?
Big as a freezer.
Yeah,
That is so
for sure.
funny.
Another one that I've got a video of you doing, and he told you I think maybe the best story.
I think it was the best story all day. Yeah.
Give them a little.
So the Major Brothers are doing they do a complete history of a figure series every Christmas. So this year they're doing the original San Francisco Toy Makers WCW line, and I thought that I should bring some of my original WCW figures. So I brought Mr. Johnny B. Bad.
I love this series.
AKA Mark Marrow. They all look so cool.
Series 2 is rare. Myers himself told you.
Myers said that's
harder
rare.
to find.
Yeah, harder to find. And I walk over and very reasonably priced, and he's sitting next to Kimberly Page. Mark Marrow says, "Oh, this was my first doll," which immediately kind of made me laugh. And then he said, I believe this was only released in Kmart's at first, and I walked into Kmart, and for whatever reason that day in the toy aisle, it was all me on the shelf. He said, so I filled a buggy up with completely my doll, a buggy full, and I walked to the cash register, and the lady said, "Wow, you must really like that doll." And he said, "No, it's me." And so he said, "So that's something special." And he signed it with
really like that doll.
A great red paint pen, Johnny B. Bad, and he was great.
So I did not know that paint pens were so important until I filmed you getting Sandman's autograph. and I know that you're a huge ECW mark, and you weren't as happy as I thought you should be. And
he just grabbed a pen, man. He just grabbed a Sharpie. Like Rhino asked me if I tested the paint pen, and Sandman didn't give a shit if it was a fucking Bic.
Did you think he would?
No, you're right. He just wanted to get paid. But yeah, I mean, as we've learned, a Sharpie doesn't last as long. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't pop as much. But
and as I said, that makes it more authentic, though, because if he had signed that figure when it came out, well, pretty much everybody just used Sharpies.
You're right.
Yeah, so it looks like it might have been signed 15, 20 years ago.
There you go.
You're right.
So before we do some of our two main events for our merch tonight, does that make y'all cringe when I say merch?
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
So, Adam, let's see some of the treasures that you brought.
Well, I only bought a couple things, actually. Yesterday, I showed off my Brian Myers figure, and I bought another Brian Myers figure, and now I'm starting to realize I might have a Brian Myers problem. Love Bam Bam Bigelow. I've got some in box. Last year, I think we got up early just to make sure I was able to purchase the classic Superstars Bam Bam. And then I just got this one in box actually signed, and I found a nice deal on a loose one. And I love this with the complete with the cane, and I like anything Myers in the Mets colors. I just like that because I know he's a Mets guy, and I just think that's such a cool figure, man. And
that's why that's it. That was his collar scheme.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And he's he was Prince of Queens for a while there too. He and great renderer on this figure. I think Brian's been lucky to have very good renderings and. It's not the $300 Liz that we saw and that I'm going to be thinking about until next year's Wrestlecade or until I get one. But I did pick up this Liz from the Then Now Forever series.
So before you do that, we've referenced your Miss Elizabeth Love, and I don't think we've put it on the podcast.
Oh, maybe not.
Adam Harris is the biggest Miss Liz mark.
Yeah, I mean,
that I
grew
know.
up in a certain era. She's the first lady of professional wrestling. She's so beautiful, classically beautiful. I think everybody says, and. So I will have that minimum card Liz figure. I think as a collector, and I do have a Liz autograph. It's one of the more expensive things I've ever bought. And it was actually signed at the Charleston Town Center Mall in West Virginia, which is one of the reasons I had to have it. I'm a Liz collector. So, send me your best deals on Liz figures and
we're
Liz
just sending
cards
free Miss Elizabeth stuff.
That's right. If you have whatever you have, I bought a magazine too.
If you have that Miss Elizabeth LJN mint on card, and you just want to send it over to our buddy,
I wish I'd have got that guy's
Steve
number.
I
wish I'd have got his number. And I picked up a couple magazines. One of which, let's just say, precedes the Women's Revolution, and the other one though has Hulk Hogan, and he might be in love with Elizabeth.
They were trying to sell it to
Hulk
us.
Hogan admits, I love Elizabeth. There's an asterisk.
Is there really?
Like a sister.
Oh.
Yeah. Sold a few magazines.
Yeah, they did.
Lust in your eye.
Back in 1989.
Wow.
What a great tactic. Carnies were in the magazine business as well. So a few good pickups. I got some good cards as well. A few things of people that I collect. So.
Real quick, also
really cool that you bought this.
One of the last things that I picked up was I look for anything AWA because I love the Rimcos, and I kind of set that rule for myself that I'm only going to collect the Rimcos, the LJNs, but now the WWE has the Superstar series, which is the continuation of that Rimco line, I feel like, so I can collect it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway,
tune in next year to see what Matt's rules are about collecting at that time.
How I've justified getting some more shit.
That's right.
So, right as Adam was looking at some cards and magazines, I think I saw this sitting in the bottom of a bucket, and it is the 1985 Vern Gagne Presents All-Star Wrestling VHS that actually came with a few figures and I took the tape out of the box and there's nothing on the tape.
Can't be really sure that that's what's in there.
So that might be something that you like in another
maybe.
part of your life too.
Mine. Check me out on OnlyFans. This is I'm just kidding. But I asked the guy. I said, "Hey, you got $10 on this, and you can't be sure what's on this tape." And he goes, $5.
Yeah.
So $5. That's it.
Can't be afraid to negotiate.
Let's get to the two the co-main event and the main event.
Yeah.
So on one
episode
of the Wrestling Major Figure podcast, they are talking to Paul White and they ask him his favorite figure. He says it's the vibrating figure, and that he asked them why in the hell is he vibrating, and they said it's because you're so angry. So I thought he would pop if I brought it to him. He didn't really acknowledge it too much, but he did sign it giant in a blue paint pen.
Looks good,
and it looks good, and I think it'll have some resale.
Did you say anything to him about that, or did you say, "Hey, I know this is your favorite"?
Actually, you may have clammed up because I was there filming this as well.
I was waiting.
Waiting for Matt.
He didn't even look at me. I had it in my head that I was even going to bring up his Netflix show, the Big Show that my kids love to watch. I was going to bring all that up, but he didn't engage with me, and his handler just said, "Sign it, Giant," and he signed it, Giant, and I was like, "Thanks so much, Joe. I'm just the marking out. I'm just a nerd marking out." So
and nothing against Big Show. Like
these
guys sign from 10 to 3 all day, and they get into a routine, and who knows what happened yesterday or the day before that.
And sometimes a nerd mark like me might be giving off a weird vibe. Like I want to talk about Netflix.
Who knows what vibes they've had to dodge throughout the whole entire day. And we're going to wrap this video up. Day 2 of Wrestlecade. Appreciate you guys watching and following along. So proud to be a part of Wrestlecade. Thanks to Stephen P. New, and thanks to everybody at ASW who helped bring in talent and gave us a reason to be here. And a shout out especially to the Stephen P. New, who's the coattails on which we all are riding this wave of wrestling nerddom. And we had a little visit towards the end of the day from Santa P. New. He brought us all a Claudio Castagnoli signed Elite figure, personalized. Thanks so much, Stephen P. New. And I'm going to crush it right now.
And dude, he worked me because I was with him when he bought this. And he's like, "Yeah, I went over to a vendor and I bought a bunch of Claudios because I thought that Claudio would like to have them around so he could sign them." And he had bought them for us. And
to have Claudio sign.
Yeah, man. Last year, our Christmas present from Stephen P. New was the Jim Cornette figure where he cussed us out. Except for Adam, who he said is his friend.
That's right.
So yeah, this is man. I don't have many figures. This might be my 8th or 9th one. And being a big, huge Claudio fan, actually, I brought some coffee from my homeland to give to him because if you're a Claudio nerd like I am, he does a coffee blog. And he's big into coffee. And
had he heard of the kind you gave him? Was he impressed?
I didn't say. I was so scared. I was like, I just went up and I was like, "My wife
I brought you some coffee. Don't hit me.
Please don't put me in the big swing.
Don't swing me.
Do you watch Netflix?"
All right, here we go. For the other Steve and Matt Mullins, I'm Adam Harris. On behalf of Brian Resner, Stephen P. New, this is the House of Kayfabe, reporting from the Hotel of Kayfabe, Wrestlecade Night 2. Thanks for watching along. We'll talk to you guys soon.